Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, and what an absolutely beautiful day for Tesla itself. So let's go over all of that. By the way, quick disclaimer, there might be some construction noise, some drilling. It's been happening for like 2 hours straight. I don't know what in the hell they're doing up there, but they're doing something. So might be some noise here and there. Hopefully that's not too bad, but regardless, let's just dive into it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below. A lot of thoughts and posts as well today, right? There's a lot to talk about. Of course, a pretty massive day in all honesty for Tesla. So if you're interested in having these conversations, also talking with other members themselves, talk to each other, just a community essentially as well. Plus, of course, I share my thoughts about Tesla as the stock is moving throughout the day. Link is down below for $3 a month if you're interested. But let's just dive into it. Tesla closing the day in about a minute here, closing the day looking like at around $251-ish per share, which is an absolutely beautiful move of 5%. Glad we can finally say that. But it's not just any 5%. This is the 5% move, right? Compared to the market, by the way, Tesla, I mean, QQQ pretty much flat, but slightly down. So obviously, that it's a little bit of an outperformance to say the least. Now, what does this mean? This is what the bulls have been waiting for. This is what the bears tried to do. They failed, and the bulls instead accomplished, right? This candle right here is exactly what happened yesterday, actually, right? Pretty much the exact opposite happened yesterday. The exact same candle, just red to the downside, breaking below very crucial levels. But of course, with J-Pound, with the bulls coming in as well, absolutely an astronomically reverse to the upside, which is of course a beautiful sight to see. And today, what happens? Well, like I said, when you have a candle like this, I was cautiously optimistic, but it's hard not to look at this kind of candle and this kind of reversal, especially 2 days in a row, and not feel bullish, right? And that's exactly what we had today. Beautiful follow through, absolutely gorgeous looking bullish candle on phenomenal volume. And it's just hard to look at this as well, just like yesterday's candle, and not be like, it finally might be Tesla's turn. It really finally might be. We finally broke out of this congestion zone. We broke out of the bull flag. We broke out of both bull flags. So let's start from the beginning. Let's just start from the beginning. There's just so much to discuss. It's exciting too. Let's talk for the beginning. So first and foremost, right? We had this, like I talked about many times, smaller bull flag, this a green bull flag right here, right? Boom, 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 right? This was essentially the congestion period that we kind of kept zigzagging in for like a while now. Like what is this, like 17, 18 candles or something like that? Let me see if I can go like this. We go like this. We did it for, if you include today, it's been 4 weeks and 2 days, 21 bars of congestion. That's a very long time, just over a full month, right? So a lot of congestion, right? And then we, of course, number one, broke out of this congestion zone, right? The green lines were pretty much that area, right? We never really closed candles above any of these areas, right? We constantly touched them, but we never closed. Today, obviously, we broke out. And not only did we break out, the most important part, like I always say, we closed. That is the most important part, or one of the most important parts, right? Just breaking out is not enough, as of course explained or hopefully shown very obviously by yesterday's movement. So that's number one. But as if that wasn't enough, we also obviously broke out of this massive bull flag. This is a fairly large bull flag that we were in, right? And we, of course, broke out of it. And so far, it's also looking pretty darn good because we broke out of this finally, and this was essentially what the bulls have been waiting for. And look at that, it's finally here. We're above the 21 EMA. We're above the 50-day moving average, which I'll hide for now. Where is it? Up here, right? We're above the 21 EMA. We're above the 100-day moving average. We're above everything that really matters. We're above all of those on the weekly as well. I'm not going to reveal all of them. They're all like below that down here, the other two, but we're above all of them as well. The weekly is also breaking out. And all in all, Tesla is looking beautiful. Like this is pretty much exactly what you would want to ask for. We're bounced right off of this high volume area, and the volume you can see definitely decreases slightly as we go up higher. So this is just perfection. Like this is what I call a breakout. Like this is a breakout, man. This is perfect, right? Now, obviously, we'll talk about some caveats, right? It's not all fun and games. There are still some things to pay attention to worry about, to consider, be a little bit cautious about. But in my opinion, I'd be genuinely surprised if sometime this month we do not see the 260s. Like I would genuinely be surprised. Like obviously there's a chance it might not happen, but it would be surprising if we do not reach the 260s. I'll talk about why the 260s. There's a few reasons. That's kind of where that, caution, I guess, really starts getting a little bit more, I guess, potentially concerning. We'll discuss it soon. But that's kind of the main thing essentially, if you will, that is happening here, right? We maintained the channel, we broke out of both bull flags, we broke above the 100-day moving average that we couldn't, right? Several times we couldn't break above the 100-day moving average. We closed right at it, broke above, closed below it, closed rejected by it, closed went way down. Another candle went way into it, obviously got rejected, closed just ever so slightly above it, but obviously nowhere near as convincing as today's candle, right? And then of course rejected down even further. So finally, we convincingly closed above it as well. So MACD's flipped back to being bullish as well. Just a phenomenal day for Tesla, right? And then the weekly, like I said, also looking phenomenal as well. So let's discuss the target, right? So we discussed, I mean, I've been expecting this. Obviously, yesterday did trap me a little bit. I did get a little bit, caught off guard by yesterday's movement, I will admit. But, thankfully, I re-entered my bullish positions and I was expecting this breakout at some point. I just, wasn't sure when. Here it is. Now, let's talk about the target. Where are we going from here? Like, what's the next play? What happens next, right? Like I said, my target is roughly around the 260s-ish, right? Let's talk about why that is. The easiest way to look at it, probably in my opinion, is on the weekly. Yeah, the weekly is a pretty good spot to look at, right? Take a look at the weekly. So why 260s? Why is that the level I am looking at? So it's pretty simple. So first and foremost, obviously, a beautiful breakout, right? There's a few resistances here. First and foremost, we have just a typical resistance in the low-ish 260s, right? We had candles here that got resisted, then we had some support by the candles here, then we had resistance, then we had support, then we had resistance, right? So this kind of like low-ish 260s, like 260, 262, that general area, which is this white line, just a level of typical resistance, right? Pretty simple stuff, but there's a bit more to it than that. First and foremost, let's talk about the final boss, right? This is the final boss I've been talking about for a long time. Obviously, other people have been as well, but this is like the final boss. Like this is truly the final boss, the red line here, right? This is the red line that we've been in pretty much a downtrend ever since all-time highs. We set an all-time high, got rejected by it here. This is where we technically started forming the lower highs. Then we formed another lower high. Then we formed a substantially lower high, right? Then we kind of went to the same level-ish. And technically, even here, we're still technically forming lower highs. But this is the very, very like final boss, right? Breaking above this red line is really, really, really crucial. Like this is truly what reverses the trend. Like this is still good. This bull flag breakout is phenomenal, but there's still work to be done. Like all we did was defeat the second last boss, if that makes sense, or or maybe even the third last boss, right? But again, the final boss is this red line. If we break above that, I think Tesla, at least in theory, again, nothing is guaranteed, but in theory, just strictly off technical analysis, that is extremely bullish, and Tesla's downtrend is officially over. So that's number one. The MACD is softening up here. You can see it's looking like it potentially wants to flip bullish. It hasn't yet, but it's looking pretty good. The squeeze meter, unfortunately, is still a red circle. So, we haven't really seen a squeeze. By the way, it's also like that on the daily chart. Yeah, still a squeeze, but it's looking like it wants to squeeze to the upside. You can see the blue line is reappearing once again. That's a good sign. As the MACD is also flipping bullish, the RSI is looking great. I don't know how you can possibly look at this chart and say it's bearish. Like I genuinely don't know. The only thing that could be bearish about this chart is if it's a false breakout and we just simply crash back down under and back into this bull flag. Kind of like what happened with Netflix, like I talked about before. Remember how Netflix broke down way down below like this and it was looking horrible until a catalyst, which was earnings, brought it back up into the fly or the channel. I guess some major thing like that can mess this up. But like, let's just say I personally wouldn't be betting on it. Like that's not something I'd be betting on. Now, back to the weekly. So that's number one. That's why this level is important, right? And this level, like it's pretty much around, as you guessed it, I'm sure, about 265-ish, right? Depends on when it happens, but if it happens anytime in December, it's pretty much around 265, give or take a couple dollars. But as if that's not enough, there's also another important thing to understand about this weekly time frame. And that, of course, is going to be this massive channel. Technically, again, not to be a party pooper, but this technically, it can still be extremely bearish. There is still an extremely important level to break because if we do not break it, this overall move can still turn to be extremely bearish, like very bearish. And that's pretty simple because this could still be, or rather remember this ascending channel, we were in this really big one right here that's going up to the right? Don't forget, this still could technically be a bear flag. We had a massive crash from earnings or from all-time highs. Had a nice little dead cat bounce, if you will, on the weekly. Again, this is the weekly time frame, right? Take that into consideration. Massive one, right? And don't forget, we talked about this on the Fibonacci. Technically, we didn't break above the last crucial level in the Fibonacci, which is that 0.618 level, which is around 300. We did not break it. And then what happened? We broke down on this massive weekly candle out of the bull flag or the bear flag. That's bad. And so far, we've been trading outside of the bear flag. And so far, we've technically not really come back up to the bear flag to actually retest it truly, right? You can make an argument that we got pretty close here, so maybe. But we technically never retested it. And if we do come up to retest it, well, what do you know? If it happens to say sometime next week even, potentially, which I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, it coincides almost perfectly with where the final boss trend line is from the all-time highs. It coincides almost perfectly, which also puts us at somewhere around the 265-ish level, give or take a couple of dollars. You can see right here, they pretty much intersect. That's why this level to me is unbelievably important. Like breaking out of this bull flag was phenomenal. And this is what gets us to that level to even try to test that level. But breaking above that 265-ish, give or take, of course, level is crucial. This area can still technically reject us. This can still just be nothing more than a dead cat bounce, right? From the breakdown of the bull flag, we come up to retest that successfully. And what happens after that when you retest a successful, in this case, breakdown? Well, you continue the move to that respective direction, in this case, down. So important to understand that it's not all, like it's not amazing just yet. Like this is great. I think we'll see 260s. I'd be genuinely surprised if we do not see about 265-ish, give or take. But that's going to be the most important level in my eyes. Again, this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, hey, don't blame me. I'm just sharing what I see. I could be completely wrong. But that's the most important thing I see. The 260s level, 265-ish, this intersection, the downtrend from the all-time highs, the retest potential of this bear flag breakdown that we had not that long. I mean, okay, it's a week candle. It's about like what, 2.5, maybe close to 3 months at this point, right? Very crucial, very important, very, very, very vital. And that's the main thing I'll be personally looking at. So with that being said, that's kind of what I am seeing. But short to medium term, I guess short-ish to medium term, it's bullish. It's absolutely bullish. Tesla's looking phenomenal. It's looking like it wants to rally. I'd be generally surprised if we don't see the 265s. But again, I'd still warn some pretty sizable caution if and probably when we get to 265 and really watch it carefully there. Because again, if we do not break above 265, or to make it really simple, to make it really like truly like easier to follow, 270, this can still turn ugly. I'm just saying, unfortunately, that it can still turn ugly. So just take that for what it's worth. But that's kind of what I am seeing. So let me know what you think down below. I know some people might be a little upset. Some bulls might be a bit upset. I'm a bull. Don't get me wrong. I am absolutely a bull. And I'm absolutely expecting a move to 265 sometime relatively soon, within the next week, maybe two. Important though. We're entering probably the most important part of Tesla's. How long has this been? How many weeks has this been? Let's go to the monthly chart actually. How many months have we been building up this overall candle? So from all-time highs, it's been 2 years and 1 month. This is probably the most important situation coming up in Tesla's 2 years and 1 month of movement, if you will, in the charts. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. I hope we'll break it. And I think there's a very real possibility we do, but just take that for what it's worth. Very important. But all that being said and done, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.